welcome. You know, your brain is the most incredible tool you'll ever own. But let's be real, it doesn't exactly come with a user manual. So think of this as your official field guide. We're going to open up the hood, take a look at how your mind works, and learn how to be the one in the driver's seat. Let's get into it.
So, does this ever happen to you? You get stuck in this loop, and it feels like your own mind is kind of working against you. If you're nodding along right now, you are definitely not alone. It's a completely human experience, and just understanding what's going on is the very first step to changing it.
Okay, let's see how this trap actually works. It starts with something small, right? An event, like your boss gives you a tough project. Then the thought pops in. Ugh, this is way too hard. That thought immediately sparks a feeling, maybe some anxiety. And that anxiety, it drives you to do something, or not do something, like procrastinate. And what's the end result? The impact? Poor results, and now your confidence takes a hit. See how that one single thought created a real negative outcome?
So first, let's really get under the hood and understand the mechanics of this whole downward spiral. Because once you understand how the machine works, you can learn how to operate it.
This is what's called the cycle of reality, and it breaks it all down perfectly. It all begins with your thoughts. That's the story you tell yourself. Those thoughts, they create your emotions. Your emotions then fuel your actions. And finally, your actions create the impact, the actual result in your life. Now, the most important part of this whole thing is that it all starts with the thought. Your thoughts are literally driving the train. And if you can change the thought, you can change the entire destination.
So, if our thoughts are the starting point, what happens when the wrong kind of thoughts take over? Well, that's when we get an invasion.
Let's meet the culprits. ANTs. That stands for automatic negative thoughts. They're the ones that just pop into your head totally uninvited. And the most important thing to remember about them is this. They are pests, not pets. You don't want to feed them, and you definitely don't want to let them live rent-free in your head.
And these little pests, they come in all different shapes and sizes. You've got the fortune teller, the one that's always predicting a terrible future with zero evidence. Then there's the mind reader, that little voice that's convinced everyone is judging you. Or how about all or nothing thinking, where if something isn't perfect, it's a complete disaster. Just being able to spot which species of ant is crawling around your brain is the first step to squashing it.
Okay, so we've identified the problem, and we know who the pests are. Now for the good part. It's time to arm ourselves. Let's open up our mental toolkit and see exactly how we can fight back.
That's right, we are officially going on an ant extermination mission.
So our first tool is the insecticide. I like to call it logic spray. The next time an ant shows up, you hit it with 3 simple questions. First, is this thought really true? Second, what's the actual evidence I have for this? And my favorite one, would I ever say this to my best friend? It's amazing how often just asking these questions makes that ant just disappear. Now, tool number 2 is a total game changer. It's the train station. I want you to picture your mind as a busy train platform, and thoughts are just trains arriving all the time. Some are helpful, they're heading somewhere good, but others, those are the ant trains. They're headed straight for a bad destination. The big secret here is realizing you don't have to board every train. You have the power to just stand on the platform, watch it pull in, check its destination, and consciously decide not to get on. You can just let the ant trains pass right on by. This really just spells it out, doesn't it? We're faced with a choice. One track, the ant track, is a clear dead end. But the other one, that one leads somewhere much, much better. And this brings us to our third tool, switching tracks. So the thought, I can't do this, is an ant, and it puts you on a direct track to giving up station. But here's the thing. You have the power to pull that big lever. You can consciously choose a different, reframed thought, like, okay, I can try one small step. That simple switch puts you on a brand new track, one that's heading towards progress.
Let's see how this works in the real world. So, the situation is a student is sleeping in your class. The ANT track leads to the thought, he's disrespecting me. The result? Anger, maybe a broken relationship. But if you pull that lever and switch to the other track, you might think, maybe he's sick or just exhausted. That thought leads to concern, support, and actually a stronger relationship. It's the exact same situation, but 2 totally different thoughts create 2 wildly different outcomes.
Now, fighting ants and switching tracks, all of that takes mental energy. And you can't do it if you're running on empty. So this brings us to a super important part of the process, proactive mindset care.
I mean, this visual really says it all.
You can't pour from an empty cup, and you definitely can't fight off negative thoughts when your mental battery is completely drained. Keeping yourself charged up with rest and good care isn't selfish. It's absolutely essential. It's what keeps you in the game.
So how do you stay charged? You've got to pay attention to your own personal energy calculator. Take a second and think about your own life. What are your energy givers? You know, things like getting enough sleep, eating good food, spending time with friends. Now, what are your energy takers? Things like doom scrolling on your phone, negative self-talk, or bottling up your feelings. The goal is simple. Do more of the givers and way, way less of the takers.
All right, so we have diagnosed the problem, we've identified the enemy, and we've put together a pretty powerful toolkit. Now let's put it all together and map out your path forward.
So here it is, your complete mental toolkit. The key takeaways are simple, but honestly, they're transformative. Number 1, just observe your thought loop. Number 2, use your tools, that logic spray, the train station, to make sure you don't board those ant trains. And number 3, recharge your battery on the regular. You're going to need that energy for the journey.
And I want to leave you with one last, really powerful way to keep that battery charged and your mindset strong. Think of gratitude as a muscle. The more you exercise it, by intentionally looking for the good in the small things, the stronger your positive mindset gets. Think of it as your daily workout to keep those ants away for good.
Because ultimately, you are the one standing at the switch. Every single moment is a choice. You have the map, you have the tools, and you absolutely have the power. So what track will you choose today?